Who are you really? Is the you that looks in the mirror, that answers when someone calls your name, truly a fixed and permanent being? And if there's no permanent self inside, no unchanging core, then what exactly continues when this body fades away? Have you ever paused to wonder, why does it feel so real, even if everything about you has changed since you were a child? Welcome to Stillness Unfolded. Today, we're going to walk together into one of the most profound teachings of the Buddha, the nature of self, the mystery of rebirth, and the hidden flow of existence unfolding beneath the surface of every breath you take. In this journey, we won't just explore theories. We'll dive into what you are made of, how craving drives the wheel of becoming, how consciousness moves without a carrier, and how rebirth is happening right now, in this very moment. If you've ever questioned who you are, why you change, or what carries forward beyond death, you will find something here that speaks directly to your deepest curiosity. So stay with me until the very end, because every part of this video connects like pieces of a greater puzzle. Each chapter builds on the last, and missing a piece would be missing part of the insight itself. If this topic resonates with you, please take a moment to give this video a like and subscribe to Stillness Unfolded so you won't miss future journeys into wisdom and self-discovery. Also, I would love to hear your reflections. Drop a comment below and share what you discover along the way. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful, high-quality content to serve your inner growth. Now, let's begin this exploration together. Chapter 1. The Illusion of a Permanent Self. From the moment we wake up and recognize the familiar voice in our head saying, "I need to get up," we are swimming in a strong and unshakable sense of I. It feels so solid, so continuous. It's the same me that felt joy yesterday, that holds memories from years ago, that looks into the mirror and says, "This is who I am." We plan for the future with the same assumption, that a permanent self will carry our dreams forward. This ordinary sense of I seems undeniable. Yet, the Buddha invited us to examine this directly. He didn't merely offer an abstract theory, but a radical, experiential insight. The self we feel so sure of does not actually exist in the way we imagine. This is the heart of the teaching called anatta, no self. It's not a denial that experiences happen. It's not a negation of life's richness. Instead, it's a call to see that there is no fixed, unchanging entity behind all of these experiences. What we call I is more like a dance than a dancer, more like a song than a singer. If there is no permanent core inside, then what exactly are we? The Buddha taught that what we experience as a person is actually a dynamic, ever-shifting process made up of 5 aggregates, components that arise and dissolve without a central owner. The first aggregate is rupa, the physical form. This is the body, flesh, bones, nerves, and organs. It's easy to think of the body as mine, but if we look carefully, we see that it grows, ages, and reacts without consulting any inner commander. We didn't choose to age. We didn't design the beating of our own heart. The body follows natural laws, not personal will. The second is Vedana, feeling. Every contact with the world brings a flavor, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. The warmth of sunlight on our skin, the sting of harsh words, the dullness of a waiting room, all register without a self behind them. Feelings simply arise and pass away, much like waves crashing and receding on the shore, without any permanent observer riding them. Next is sana, perception. This is the mind's ability to recognize and label. It sees a tree and names it. It hears a voice and knows who it belongs to. Perception is indispensable for survival, but it's also mechanical and conditioned. We don't perceive freely. We perceive based on memory, conditioning, and patterns. Like a computer recognizing a face in a crowd, it processes, it identifies, but there is no enduring entity behind the processing. The fourth is sakra, mental formations. This vast category includes intentions, habits, judgments, and emotional reactions. It is the engine room of karma, the place where seeds of future experiences are planted. Every choice, every thought, is shaped by past habits and in turn shapes the future. But none of it implies a fixed controller. It's like wind carving sand dunes. Beautiful patterns emerge, but the wind doesn't possess the sand. Finally, there is vijnana, consciousness, awareness itself. But here again, The Buddha points out something subtle. Consciousness is not a single, unchanging light. It's not a monolithic soul. Consciousness arises dependent on conditions. The consciousness when seeing is not the same as the consciousness when hearing. Like different waves rising on the surface of the ocean, each moment of consciousness is distinct, fleeting, dependent. Together, these 5 aggregates create the illusion of a cohesive self. But the aggregates are impermanent, unstable, and without an inherent core. They are like ingredients coming together to form a meal. Once the meal is eaten, the ingredients separate and vanish. No single ingredient can claim to be the meal, and no aggregate can claim to be me. To make this even more tangible, imagine a whirlpool in a river. From a distance, it looks solid, even purposeful. But if you get closer, you realize it's just water moving in a pattern. Nothing solid, nothing separate from the river itself. The whirlpool exists as a process, not as a thing. In the same way, what we call I is a pattern of processes arising from conditions. Or think of a flame. It burns brightly, but where exactly is the flame? Is it the tip? The base? The light? The heat? You can't pin it down. It's a process of fuel, heat, and oxygen interacting moment by moment. Without the conditions, there is no flame. Without the body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness, there is no enduring self. This understanding of the 5 aggregates is not just philosophy, it is meant to be felt directly. When we begin to observe our own experience without clinging to it, a gentle loosening happens. The tightly wound narrative of me starts to soften. And in that softening, a great freedom becomes possible. The freedom from carrying the heavy burden of a permanent self through a world of constant change. The Buddha did not ask us to believe this on faith. He urged us to look carefully at our own mind, to see the arising and passing of body, feelings, perceptions, intentions, and consciousness. To see that nothing persists unchanged, and thus nothing can truly be called me or mine. In seeing this truth, not as an idea but as an intimate, living reality, we open the door to a deeper kind of wisdom, the kind that liberates us from suffering at its very root. Chapter 2. The Mechanics Behind Rebirth. Most of us grow up with a simple story about life. You're born, you live, and you die. The narrative feels complete, contained within a single timeline. But when the Buddha looked deeply into existence, he saw something far more intricate. A cycle that doesn't simply end at death, but continues, fueled by hidden forces within our own minds. This cycle is called samsara, the endless wandering through birth, aging, death, and rebirth. It's not just poetic symbolism. It's a profound description of how suffering perpetuates itself when left unexamined. Understanding this cycle isn't about adopting a new belief system. It's about recognizing patterns already alive in our present moment. The driving force behind this endless becoming is not a cosmic judge or an external destiny. It is something intimately close, craving. In Pali, it's called tanha, a deep, gnawing thirst that shapes our experiences from moment to moment. This craving isn't just for pleasure. It's the urge to exist, to become someone, to secure an identity, or even to not exist at all. When craving arises, it sets into motion a chain of reactions. We grasp, we cling, we struggle to hold on to what is pleasant and push away what is unpleasant. Every thought soaked in desire, every reaction fueled by aversion, becomes a seed, an imprint on the mind. And these seeds don't vanish. They gather momentum. They set the conditions for what comes next. This is where the concept of karma enters. Contrary to popular caricatures, karma is not about cosmic retribution. It's not about being punished for wrongs or rewarded for virtues by some external force. Instead, karma simply means action driven by intention. It is the natural law of cause and effect playing out through the mind, speech, and body. Imagine planting a garden. Each thought, word, and deed is a seed. Some seeds are nourishing, kindness, compassion, wisdom. Others are toxic, greed, hatred, delusion. Whether we are conscious of it or not, our actions are always planting seeds. When conditions are right, they sprout, sometimes in this life, sometimes beyond it. But here's the subtle point. There is no gardener who owns these seeds in an ultimate sense. Just as there is no single raindrop that owns the river, there is no permanent self carrying karma across lifetimes. There is only the continuation of conditions, the momentum of choices, shaping the future like a potter shaping clay. The Buddha likened this continuity to lighting one candle with another. The flame passes, but it is not the same flame. It is not the same, and yet it is not entirely different. The new flame depends on the conditions established by the first. Similarly, when one life ends, the conditions of craving and karma ignite the beginning of another experience. Another image often used is that of an echo. The voice that created the echo is gone, yet the sound continues. The echo is neither entirely the same nor entirely different from the original voice. It carries the influence forward without needing the original source to persist. Modern science, too, offers metaphors that align with this understanding. Think of how a ripple spreads across a pond after a single pebble drops. Long after the pebble has sunk and vanished, the ripples continue to travel outward, shaped by the initial impact. In the same way, our cravings and intentions ripple through the fabric of experience, far beyond the moment they arise. This is why death, in Buddhism, is not seen as an abrupt end, but as a continuation, a new chapter shaped by the accumulated energy of all previous moments. It's not about a soul moving from one body to another. It's about the unfolding of cause and effect, moment by moment, without a central owner. But why does this cycle continue at all? Why doesn't it simply fade away? Because we continue to feed it. Every time we cling to pleasure, resist pain, chase after identity, or grasp for meaning in a world of impermanence, we fuel the process. Craving keeps the fire burning. Karma keeps the wheel turning. And without seeing this clearly, we remain entangled in a web of becoming again and again. Understanding this mechanism is not meant to inspire fear. The Buddha didn't teach it to frighten us into submission. He taught it to empower us, to show that the cycle is not inevitable. If the wheel turns because of craving and ignorance, then it can also stop turning through wisdom and release. The first step is simply seeing that every action, every thought, every intention is part of a stream that doesn't end with death. Seeing that our daily reactions aren't trivial, but part of the architecture of existence itself. Seeing that freedom doesn't come from resisting life or clinging to it, but from understanding how it operates and ceasing to feed the fires that keep us bound. When we grasp this not just intellectually but viscerally, the urgency of practice becomes clear. Every moment matters. Every choice ripples outward. And every act of letting go, a moment of generosity, a breath of patience, a glimpse of compassion, is a step toward liberation from the endless cycle of craving and becoming. In this light, rebirth is not a mystery relegated to another lifetime. It's a living process, unfolding here and now, within the field of the mind. And the keys to freedom lie not in some distant heaven, but in our own hands, right in this very breath. Chapter 3. Consciousness without a carrier. If there is no fixed self and no soul carrying our identity across lifetimes, then what exactly moves forward? How does the stream of existence continue if there is no enduring entity behind it? The Buddha's answer is both profound and liberating. What continues is not a thing, but a process. Not a passenger jumping from one vehicle to the next, but a flowing current of conditions influencing each other. At the heart of this flow is consciousness, Vijnana in Pali, but not consciousness as an immortal witness or an eternal observer. Instead, consciousness is seen as a series of moment-to-moment events, each one dependent, each one conditioned, none standing alone. The Buddha described this as Siddha Santati, the continuity of mental moments. Imagine a river flowing downhill. The water you see now is not the same water that was there a moment ago, and yet the river appears continuous. It gives the illusion of permanence while actually being an endless series of changes. In the same way, the mind is not a solid object. It is an unfolding series of flashes, each moment of awareness giving rise to the next, conditioned by intentions, habits, and past experiences. There is no self standing behind these moments orchestrating them. There is only the movement. When death approaches, the process does not simply halt. Instead, it shifts according to the patterns most deeply embedded within the mind. In Buddhist teachings, the final moment of consciousness at death is called Kuti Siddha, the death mind. It is the culmination of a lifetime of tendencies, intentions, and mental habits. At that pivotal moment, whatever qualities have been most strongly cultivated, whether kindness, anger, craving, or wisdom, become the dominant flavor. Just as a river bends according to the shape of the land, the mind bends according to its deepest grooves. And then, without any break, without any need for a soul to travel, a new moment of consciousness arises. This is called Padisandhivanana, the linking consciousness. It's the first spark of awareness in a new life, conditioned by the accumulated momentum of the past. This transition is not orchestrated by an external force. It is not decided by a divine being. It is the natural unfolding of cause and effect, the same way that a seed, planted in fertile soil, inevitably sprouts when conditions are right. Think of a candle lighting another. The first flame does not travel across the air to the new wick. Instead, conditions are transferred: the heat, the fire, the energy. A new flame leaps up, dependent but not identical, continuous but not the same. Another powerful image is that of a wave on the sea. No single wave stands alone. Each one is born from the momentum of the water, the pull of the moon, the breath of the wind. Waves arise, change, and merge back into the ocean, without a core, without a permanent essence, yet undeniably present. Thus, rebirth is not about a being moving from one realm to another. It's about the continuation of momentum. It's about patterns of mind expressing themselves anew, according to the forces we have set into motion. But it's easy to misunderstand this. Without clear insight, we instinctively look for something to cling to, a me that endures. Our habitual view craves continuity, craves to know, I will still be me. The Buddha gently pointed out that this craving itself is part of what fuels samsara. When we see deeply, however, a beautiful paradox emerges. There is continuity without a carrier, movement without a mover, becoming without a fixed being. In fact, this insight aligns with how we experience ourselves even now. Think about it. Are you exactly the same person you were 10 years ago? Your body has changed. Your thoughts have changed. Your memories have faded and morphed. Even your preferences, your dreams, your fears, they have shifted. And yet, there is a sense of me that clings, insists, I am still the same. But when we look closer, we see that this I is not a solid thing. It's a story, a weaving together of changing experiences into a thread of identity. And just like a movie made of thousands of shifting frames, the illusion of continuity appears only when we step back and string the moments together. This understanding isn't meant to erase our humanity or make life feel meaningless. On the contrary, it invites us into a deeper intimacy with life, a way of living with less burden, less clinging, less fear. If there is no permanent essence to defend, there is also no need to be trapped by old wounds, regrets, or identities. Freedom is not found by clinging harder to who we think we are. Freedom is found by recognizing that we are more like a river than a stone, always moving, always new, always alive. This is the liberation the Buddha pointed toward, not an annihilation of the person, but an awakening to the deeper truth of process over possession, flow over fixation, freedom over fear. The stream flows on, not because someone pushes it, but because the conditions allow it. And within that flowing stream lies the secret to breaking free, if we only learn to see it with clear eyes and an open heart. Chapter 4. The Micro-Rebirths of Everyday Life. When we think of rebirth, it's easy to imagine something grand and distant, a transition that happens only after death, perhaps far away from our current experience. Yet the Buddha pointed to something much closer, something happening right now, in the smallest currents of our daily life. Every moment, every thought, every feeling arises, lingers briefly, and then fades away. This continual appearing and disappearing is not some esoteric idea for monks on mountaintops. It is the very fabric of our existence, unfolding in each breath we take. In the Pali Canon, this dynamic is called Khanika Marana, momentary death. Each mental event, each sensation, each perception is born, stays for the briefest flash, and then dies. The mind, the body, the world we experience, they are not solid and continuous as they appear. They are a flickering series of births and deaths, happening faster than we can consciously observe. Consider a simple example. A thought of anger arises. For a moment, it feels so real, so powerful, almost like it defines who we are. I am angry, we say, but if we watch closely, we notice that the anger shifts. Perhaps it softens into frustration, or hardens into resentment, or simply evaporates. The thought that seemed so substantial was already passing away the moment it arose. Or take joy. A sudden laughter bubbles up when we hear a friend's joke. The laughter seems bright and full, but within seconds, it subsides. New feelings emerge to take its place. Each emotional wave has its own brief life, never lasting, never static. This is rebirth, not just in some future existence, but right now, from instant to instant. Each fresh moment is a kind of birth. Each fading moment is a kind of death. And if we look even deeper, we realize something even more astonishing. There is no enduring self riding through these moments. There is no solid owner of the anger, the joy, the sorrow. They arise out of conditions, shaped by causes both near and far, and they vanish according to their nature. The modern mind, used to thinking in terms of continuity and stability, resists this insight. We want to believe that there is a me who remains the same through changing moods and thoughts. But reality shows us otherwise. Life is not a solid sculpture. It is a river, endlessly flowing, endlessly renewing. The practical implications of this are immense. If every moment is a new birth, then every moment holds the potential for freedom. We are not trapped by our past reactions, our past identities, or even our past mistakes. The past dies in each breath. The future is born anew with each intention. This also means that karma is not just a ledger for future lives. It is alive here and now. Every choice we make, even the smallest gesture of patience, the tiniest act of compassion, plants a seed that immediately begins shaping who we are becoming. And every moment of clinging, anger, or delusion similarly plants seeds of suffering. Thus, mindfulness, the simple act of paying attention without clinging, is not a trivial practice. It is an act of liberation. When we are mindful, we step into the stream of becoming with awareness. We notice the births and deaths. We recognize the fleeting nature of our experiences. We stop identifying so tightly with what arises. We loosen our grip on the false idea of a permanent self. Imagine standing beside a river, watching leaves float by. Some leaves are beautiful, others are decayed, but none of them stay. If we try to grab them, we only create disturbance. If we let them pass, the river flows smoothly and peace remains. Our inner life is the same. Thoughts come and go. Feelings rise and fall. By observing them with clarity, we participate in life's dance without becoming entangled in it. This understanding leads naturally to a profound trust in impermanence. While change can be frightening when we cling to what we love, it becomes liberating when we realize it is the very doorway to freedom. If nothing lasts, then suffering too can end. If no self is fixed, then transformation is always possible. When the Buddha spoke of nirvana, the cessation of suffering, he wasn't pointing to a distant paradise. He was describing the cooling of the fires of craving and clinging, here and now, moment by moment. It's not about escaping life. It's about seeing life so clearly that the need to grasp fades away. In this very breath, in this very thought, in this very feeling, the entire cycle of birth and death is unfolding. And in seeing that, we realize liberation is not a future event. It is the willingness to be present, fully and freely, in the living dance of change. The great mystery, it turns out, is not hidden far from us. It is happening right now, as close as our next inhale, as immediate as our next thought. And when we open our eyes to it, when we truly see the river of becoming without trying to dam it or possess it, something extraordinary happens. A deep, unshakable peace arises. Not because the world stops changing, but because we are no longer trying to make it stand still. As we reach the end of this journey, one truth becomes clear. Rebirth isn't just something that happens after death. It's happening now. Each thought, each emotion, each breath you take is a birth and a death, a moment rising and falling in the river of existence. You are not a fixed entity bound to a rigid identity. You are a beautiful, flowing process, alive, shifting, responding, becoming. And when we deeply see this, not just intellectually, but in the marrow of our being, something profound shifts. We no longer need to cling so tightly. We no longer need to fear change. Because we realize, freedom is not found by controlling the river. Freedom is found by flowing with it, with awareness, compassion, and understanding. So I invite you, keep questioning, keep observing. Let the inquiry into your true nature unfold without fear. Let transformation arise not by force, but by clear seeing. Thank you for walking this path with me today. If you found value here, please like the video, subscribe to Stillness Unfolded, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement not only supports the channel, it strengthens the community of seekers, explorers, and wisdom lovers like you. Remember, the real mystery was never far away. It was always here, woven into the very breath you are taking right now. Until next time, stay present, stay open, and let stillness unfold.